Hi, so these are the doodles that I've made for this week's first assignment. I really wanted to challenge myself to not use the eraser as much as I usually do. So for a lot of these, I just went in with a pen or a marker or paint or whatever without doing pencil beforehand, just to challenge myself in that way. But for this first one, I did a still life of my hedgehog plushie. It's this plushie right here. It has a lot of sentimental value to me, so I wanted to draw it as part of my identity. And I thought this background would be a good one for it, just because it has such solid, rigid shapes in it. I thought the loose form of the hedgehog and the texture in it would be a good contrast to that. And I almost wish that I came in here with some marker now, looking at it and add some more form to it, but maybe that's something I can do another time. This next one are some doodles of my mom and dad's cat, Luna. She means a lot to me as well. I also did the challenge here of not using an eraser, and I'm really proud of how they turned out knowing that. I tried to do some dynamic poses. So this is one of with her little yarn ball that she tore up very soon after this photo is taken. And then this one is of her laying down with her tongue sticking out. And I've got one here. It's a very challenging pose for me to do, but I'm proud of how it turned out, especially without being able to erase, with her body kind of tilted. This was around Halloween, and I had one of those mini pumpkins, and she was fighting it, playing around with it. Got some cloth in the foreground and background. This one I also just did with the Nevada Fine Arts pin, and I did it on this background because the colors remind me of my old room where she hung out a lot. There's just some bleeding from the next page over. Oops. This one is just a character doodle that I did. I thought this would be a good background for a little doodle of a character fishing. I don't know, it's got the atmosphere. So this is Dreamer sitting on some rocks with the worm flower and the fishing pole, fishing up something up. This one is, I also used the marker, Fine Arts marker for this one. This is a self-portrait that I did, also no eraser. There's a lot that I would change about this now, but I suppose I should expect not being able to erase with a self-portrait to be kind of hard. Got some folds in the fabric. Got the little flowers there still from my background. This is also part of an identity one, and I just thought this one was a big open space to do a self-portrait on. On this next one, the texture here, or just the lines, I guess, that I made using the card reminded me of bamboo, especially with the green background. So I thought that I would do just a little colored pencil sketch of a panda eating on some leaves here. Got some value from the black colored pencil and some texture, of course, with all the hair. On this next one, the golden background reminded me of goldfish, and I also just kind of wanted these both to be animal ones. So I drew a couple of goldfish using colored pencil, added some blue bubbles for contrast with the orange, as well as like rule of 3 right here. You can kind of tell that I've never really drawn a goldfish before, but that's okay. I'm learning. I like that I did a dynamic pose anyways, even though I'm not really experienced with drawing fish. So there's those two to get next to each other. On this next one, I got the feeling that it was just very loose and kind of chaotic in a way. So it took me a while to come up with an idea for this one, but I kind of just decided to do some little different types of suns and all of the loopholes. And then while I was at the sun theme, I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll add some clouds and make it a weather thing, especially since at least I get a chaotic feeling from this one. Maybe a mix of different weathers like rain, thunder, and sun would kind of add to the feeling. I also have some doodles of a little character here feeling some different emotions like happy, bored, or frustrated right there. That's what I have for those 2 pages. On this next one, the background I did using handprints, so I guess I kind of just had body parts on the mind. So this one, I did some teeth with some black shading on one side and some black drool dribbling down. And this one was originally supposed to be facing the other way, with these being the bottom lashes, but I kind of like how it looks upside down with the teeth. I just wanted it to come off very scary, especially since the background is so chaotic and noisy. Also, no color, since there's plenty of color in the background already. How those eyes were supposed to look originally, but I like them upside down. And this next one, I got a little carried away as far as a doodle goes, but this one originally had some pine cones that I used to make a texture in the background, and some leaves, just like various things that fall off of trees, so it really reminded me of the autumn season. So I drew some autumn trees in the background, some bushes with some berries, and of course the red tree with this fox on a bridge being the main character. You can still see the pine cones that I did in the texture, so thankfully it's not really completely lost. So there's still that pine cone texture, especially in the lightest areas. Shows up a little harder on camera than in person, but we still got that going around. But I did this one all using acrylic paints, and I do like how this one turned out. This next one is a doodle of my pothos plant that I've been taking care of recently. This background was the paper towel one I did with some watercolors and acrylic paints. It had some green in it, but I thought maybe it could use a little more green, so I used the heavy gel medium to put a green cardboard paper on top of it and drew my pothos plant and got some texture, kind of like the scratchy basket texture. I don't know if you've ever had one of those plant baskets. And then I used different values of color to kind of differentiate the leaves from one another. This one, the background I made using real pressed flowers and stamped them on there with some, did the same thing with some real leaves. And I thought this one would be a good one to draw a frog in. I thought they kind of looked like lily pads, so I drew this frog taking a leap, and I got some water and some splash from the water as the frog is jumping. I also like how the pink goes with all the green and stuff. And this last one, there was a lot to go off of already, so I thought it would be cool to have this man hiking with his daughter on the trail with an elk peeking up here and a friend following him over here. There's some bleeding from the frog, unfortunately, and some birds up here. I just thought it would be cool to add some wildlife to this one. It's kind of a nature photo. But that's all I have for this week. I hope you liked it. And see you soon.